Hello everyone and welcome to this impromptu Nintendo Direct predictions video. Nintendo just announced their, at this point, their annual September Direct, and it's a chunky one. It's going to be an hour long, which is about as long as the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct presentation was. But in that case, they were showing off a console. This is just going to be all games. So, well, almost all games. I'll go into that in a second. But that's exciting. Given we barely know what's coming up in their future, I suppose it was required that we have a real chunky Direct in front of us. But with so much time to dedicate to gaming, what sort of gaming will we be seeing? That's the question today. So, I thought I would quickly jump on the mic, jump on the camera, and give my 2 cents on what I think Nintendo will be showing off, and maybe a couple third parties as well. Let's see what I think. Let's start with what we already know is going to be there. The stuff that's really obvious. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is their next big game that isn't Pokemon or Kirby Air Riders, and that needs a release date. And I'm still pretty confident that it's going to be 2025. So this is the place to show it off. They had the recent ratings of it being rated in non-English speaking countries. I think one of them might have been Brazil. But that means if it's going to the rating boards, it means it's pretty much done. If it's not just done outright. So that means a release date was already imminent. The Nintendo Direct is the place to do it. I'm going to give it a early November launch date between Kirby Air Riders, which launches at the end of November, and Pokemon, which launches in mid-October. Pokemon tends to do its own thing, so Nintendo might not even be considering it in their plans, but I'm sure they are to an extent. It's Pokemon after all, and I think with Metroid Prime 4, they want to have it be as successful as it possibly can, given how long it's been in development for. Like, for Nintendo, Metroid Prime 4 really needs to be the best-selling Metroid game to justify the entire Switch generation of it being in development. So that will be a big one. Whether they start with that or end with it, they probably won't end with it, but they'll definitely start. There's definitely a high chance that they'll start with Metroid Prime 4 and give it a release date. Maybe there'll be a Metroid Prime 4 Direct as well, also announced. One like how we got the Kirby Direct. But I'm not 100% convinced it needs one. The trailer they show off here might be pretty solid as is, and then tell us beginning of November, 2nd of November release date. And that's all they need to do. So Metroid Prime 4 is the big one. Speaking of Kirby Air Riders and Pokemon Legends ZA, those two could get updates here. I would have suggested Pokemon Legends ZA announces another Mega Evolution, but we literally just had one shown off today, the Mega Malamar video. So maybe one on Friday is going to be a bit too soon. Then again, they didn't do one last week, if I recall correctly. So maybe they don't mind doubling up this week. They just spent the entire last week building up to Mega Malamar. Instead of showing off a new one, so maybe they'll double up and show off like the Kalos starters mega forms. If not, there'll be something Pokemon Legends ZA there that is a new feature of the game. And Kirby Air Riders, I think we'll just get a trailer. We got teased of the story mode, right, in the Nintendo Direct, the last one. So maybe that's it. Maybe we'll get a story mode trailer and see who that mysterious biker was. At the very least, I think we'll be getting a new character reveal, because it definitely looked like there were more characters to be revealed. And given how exciting that is in Super Smash Bros., I think they're going to replicate that here in Kirby Air Riders. So we'll see a new character for that. That's kind of it for the games that we know are coming out this year. I feel like there might be one more surprise tiny game that launches this year. There is Age of Imprisonment, but that could fall into January of next year. That will also get a trailer, but I don't think there's going to be anything super exciting beyond just showing a trailer, maybe giving us the names of the sages. Finally, after they revealed the face of the Gerudo one, maybe we'll get it for the rest of them now. But other than that, I don't think there's going to be anything super big for Age of Imprisonment. A release date would be nice. If it's this year, it will get a release date. If it's not this year, if it's like January next year, it won't. Oh, actually, I take that back. I think actually you could just get a release date regardless of if it's coming out this year or not, because if it's still coming out early next year in winter, that's still not that long away in the grand scheme of things, is it? So, yeah, I do think Age of Imprisonment will get a release date. Ignore what I said a few seconds ago. In terms of 2026 games that we also do need to see, there's Tomodachi Life I don't know how I said that so weird, and Rhythm Heaven Groove. So for Tomodachi Life, I think that will also get a Switch 2 edition, and we'll get a release date. I think we'll get a release date for both, but I think that will get us a more thorough trailer than the one we saw before, and they'll announce a Switch 2 edition and at least a window for its release date. Rhythm Heaven Groove, that's an interesting one, because I don't think it's a game that would need a Switch 2 edition, but if it gets one, then we kind of know what Nintendo's plan is going forward for Nintendo Switch games. They're just all going to have Nintendo Switch 2 editions if they haven't come out yet. So I can see... I don't think that's going to end up being the case. I don't think Rhythm Heaven Groove needs one. I think for a rhythm game, it's vitally important that it runs at a stable 60 FPS, or just a stable frame rate that the music is, programmed to, so on the Switch as well. So there wouldn't be any performance boost necessarily needed for a Switch 2 edition, so I'm not sure why they would need one. But then, other than performance, we don't know why there's one for Pokemon Legends ZA either. It just seems to purely be performance that they're charging extra for. So we'll have to see for Rhythm Heaven. But I think that's going to be an indicator for us of whether or not every Nintendo game going forward is a Switch 2 one or not. But do we get release dates for both of them? I think at least one of them we definitely do. We'll get release windows for them both. But whether or not we get exact dates for them is different. It's a bit hard to say. I think of the two, I'd say Tomodachi Life could be the March game for next year, and then Rhythm Heaven could be like May. So I think Tomodachi Life just seems like a March game to me, the same month that like Animal Crossing launched in. I could see that being the case. So that's where I'm going to put that one. Rhythm Heaven's a bit more variable. It could even be like July of something next year. What other Switch 1 games could we see? Because we're going to get some, and they'll have Switch 2 editions. Fire Emblem, Genealogy of the Holy War remake, the long-awaited, seems like the obvious one. I mean, I feel like we say this every direct, right? But I think this is the time. If it's real, I think this is the time. I believe they would have held it off so that they get a Switch 2 edition of it ready, because I think that game, given how massive Genealogy of the Holy War is, it probably isn't the prettiest game on Switch 1. There's probably so much they need to render, and maybe even render them at low poly in order to have the game run properly. Like, it's going to be a bit messy. I think a Switch 2 edition that cleans it up would be very nice. But also just the mouse controls. Mouse controls on Nobunaga's Ambition for the Switch 2 were really good. Fire Emblem could absolutely do with mouse controls. It's just a perfect game for it. So I think them delaying it, getting a Switch 2 edition ready, putting in the mouse controls, and announcing it now for next year seems like a very, very likely thing to me. In terms of other titles, I mean, there's a rumored Kirby Planet Robobot, but I can't see them announcing that now when we've already got Air Riders on the way and we just had Forgotten Land come out. So if that is real, I'm not expecting that till next year. Something I do think is real, and I've been saying this for a while now, is I think Camelot's next game is going to be Golden Sun. I don't think they're doing Mario Golf or Mario Tennis. I think it's definitely Golden Sun, and that could be announced here as well. Probably a Switch 1 game, maybe with a Switch 2 edition as well, but definitely a Switch 1 game, and that, I don't think it will be coming out this year. I think if something is still coming out this year, which I think there is a good chance of, it's probably not going to be a major game, but maybe they could squeeze Golden Sun into December. There are rumors of a Pokemon spin-off coming out. We don't know what sort of spin-off yet. It could be some random new idea from creatures that's just, I don't know. We've got Pokemon Cafe already. Pokemon in the movies, and it's like a film game. There's Pokemon WarioWare, like just a bunch of mini games of Pokemon in it. Pokemon mouse mode, and Pikachu's literally a mouse now, and you move him around the screen. There's going to be some sort of Pokemon spin-off game. But there's been rumours for a while of a new mystery dungeon, so maybe that could be it. Mouse mode would work really well for Rangers, but I just don't see that coming out yet. If they ever want to revisit Rangers, if it's of the existing Pokemon spin-offs, my money would be on Mystery Dungeon. But if it's not from the existing ones, obviously then it's just a new one. Like, who knows what it's going to be? Something that takes... I think that could be a Switch 2 exclusive. Something that takes full advantage of the mouse itself. So, what else we got? Splatoon Raiders. We'll get an update for that, definitely. Nintendo actually does have quite a bit coming up now that I'm just saying it all out loud. Splatoon Raiders will probably be next year at this point. I thought it might be a this year game. I originally thought Metroid Prime would be September, Pokemon October, and Splatoon Raiders November, and Kirby November, or early December, but I don't think that's happening now. So Splatoon Raiders is almost certainly next year, probably something like next June or July. It got announced this June, right? So like an entire year's worth of building it up to it. That's what I could see for that. We don't think we'll get a full release date, but we might get an indicator of when it will be. Speaking of this year, though, I've been saying I think there's one more game from Nintendo at least coming out this year, and it's a good pathway into talking about Mario, because it's Mario's 40th anniversary. I think that's the reason why this Direct is longer than the usual Direct. I think we're going to have a dedicated Mario section in the middle to celebrate the anniversary, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition is going to be announced and coming out this year. Could even, depending on how fast they want to be, they could release it in like 2 weeks. Could be out last week of September. But I think that will be a game that launches in October. After all, it's just a Switch 2 edition. I don't think it necessarily clashes with any of the other games. And it will basically be like the Kirby one, where it's running better. Not that Mario Wonder ran poorly or anything, but it's like 4K, 60 FPS. It's targeting 4K on docked, 1080p handheld, and it has new levels, just a bunch of new levels, and a new power-up, new wonder effects. I don't think there'll be any like new characters or anything like that. It'd be neat if they added like Rosalina in or something, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's just going to be new stages and maybe a good boss to fight. But that's I 100% expect. That's the Mario game I expect to see. Maybe they'll tease another Mario game. I have been saying that we do a Mario sports title, and Mario Baseball would be my choice. But I also think that could be a Switch 1 title as well. And I'm not necessarily sure it'd be one for this year at this point. They could tease it though. If there is a completely new Mario game for this year, my money's still on Dr. Mario, because it's been a while since we've had a new one of that, and that's something you could announce and then release in like a month. So that's always a possibility. The Mario movie news is going to be a big chunk of that middle section. There's going to be at least like 5 to 10 minutes devoted to the Mario movie 2, depending on if they show us a teaser trailer or not. We'll get the casting announcement. I feel like Toadette and Bowser Jr. are definites for that movie. We know Yoshi's already in it. Daisy could go either way, but they're characters we get confirmation on who's voicing them, and if Yoshi's even going to have a voice, or if they're just going to have Totaka just continue voicing Yoshi even in the film. So given that movie comes out next year, they're going to have to start ramping up showing it off. So Mario movie 2, and that's going to be the main chunk of it. Anything else from Nintendo? They have some other Switch 2 Edition games coming up, I'm confident in. Switch Sports Switch 2 Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Switch 2 Edition are both titles that are definitely happening. And obviously there will be a new Animal Crossing at some point. But I don't necessarily know if they need to be shown off now. They could be left for the next Direct. It kind of just comes down to... Because like, do you do Xenoblade 2 Edition and Fire Emblem and Golden Sun, like 3 big RPGs from them? Like from the third party side, we're definitely getting Final Fantasy in here. We might get Elden Ring in here if they want to announce a release date for it. We'll probably get a Duskbloods trailer as well on that topic. So is there a fear of it being overrepresented in RPGs, having Xenoblade 2 as well. If they do have a Xenoblade 2 Switch 2 edition, that's a December game. Having it sort of mimic the original Xenoblade Chronicles 2's release, which was December of 2017, doing it again December of 2025. Like, I could see them doing that, and you don't need a whole lot of time to announce to have a new Xenoblade. Not a new Xenoblade, but a remaster, effectively, of an old Xenoblade. You don't need a lot of time to market that. But I'm not necessarily convinced that'll be this year. Just know that that's coming along. There is a new Monolith Soft game as well, but I don't think that will be shown yet. I think they'll save that for next year. Same for like Luigi's Mansion 4, next big game. That'll also be saved for next year. So, third parties. Let's talk about them briefly and go over them. There's been the rumors of Sevens. Like, the same person who was talking about the Nintendo Direct also said that there was going to be games with 7s in them. And I think at this point, Resident Evil 7 is definitely one of them. Final Fantasy 7 is going to be one of them. And could it be Yakuza 7? Like a Dragon 7? Or is there another 7 that there could be? Like a Dragon 7 feels like a possibility. Like, they're going to get all the Like a Dragon games, and they're going to get all the Resident Evil games that aren't on the Switch 1 over to the Switch 2. And while there is the cloud version of Resident Evil 7, I think that hasn't sold very well. And so I think they're going to want to have a native version of Resi 7 on Switch 2 and Resi 8, Resi 2 remake, Resi 3 remake, Resi 4 remake. If they can manage it, even Resi 9, like, if the RE engine works on Switch 2, so maybe it'd be a very bastardized port, but they could do it. But for now, at least, Resi 7 I think will be the first one they show off here. Final Fantasy 7, and I guess we'll say Like a Dragon 7. Sega looks like they got a lot that they need to show off at TGS. They had 4 blank spots on their TGS lineup, but between this, a rumored State of Play, and there's also the RGG, like the Yakuza guys have their own presentation coming up, so with potentially Kiwami 3, there's something a lot of people are theorizing, and I could see that given Kiwami 1 and 2 came out on Switch last year. So maybe. They want the Like a Dragon series to be an annual franchise. We got Like a Dragon 0 Director's Cut this year. So next year, this would be for Kiwami 3 would be the Yakuza game for that. But the question of, is it in the Nintendo Direct or is it in their own presentation? I think their presentation is set during TGS. So it doesn't necessarily need to be here. That was basically a lot of time to say I'm unsure about Like a Dragon. But I think they're all going to eventually come over here. And you could just start with 7 now that Kiwami 1, 2, and 0 are all on Switch. Jump straight to 7 and then eventually do 8 and Pirates. Cool. Other third parties. Mega Man. I think it's Mega Man's time. So Mega Man 12, the next mainline classic Mega Man game, I think is very likely to show up in this one. If it doesn't, who knows what's going on with Mega Man. I kind of wish I could say Ace Attorney will show up, but that's one I don't expect to see. I do think we'll get definitely level 5, whether it's both Inazuma 11 and Professor Layton or just one of them. I think they need to talk about them. Both are still scheduled for this year, but I feel like Inazuma will be pushed back to next year. Hopefully Professor Layton still makes it and it's like comes out in December. I think this Direct is going to be the confirmation on both of those things. If they're both still coming this year, they'll both get release dates. If they've both been delayed, we'll find out in this Direct. But I would like to believe Professor Layton is still coming out this year and it's just going to be a December game. Other third parties, we don't have to say Silk Song anymore. We can we can avoid that one entirely. We already know pretty much what Bandai Namco's got coming up. Elden Ring's the only mystery one. I don't expect them to announce anything massively new. Maybe they'll give an update on some things like Katamari, but I don't think they necessarily need to when they announced it in the Partner Direct. Just racking my brain to think if there's anything else. Obviously, there'll be some smaller games, some indie games. I don't know if we'll get Sonic Cross Worlds. There is one more DLC to be revealed, to be fair. There's been rumours that it's been Among Us, but there's also been rumours that it'll be Mega Man. if it is Mega Man and they're announcing Mega Man 12, maybe that's something they do. They can do them back to back and have some real synergy on that front. With Sonic Crossworlds coming out soon and most of the DLC had confirmed ahead of time, I think there's a solid chance they'll want to confirm all the paid DLC before it launches. So actually, the final DLC character being confirmed in this Nintendo Direct is certainly possible. If it's not here, it'll be TGS. So let's say that Sonic Crossworlds DLC will also be here. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, DLC for a racing game, Mario Kart World. We get a Mario Kart World DLC. If we do, it's going to be here. If it's actually coming out, it will be here. There haven't been any rumors about it. It's just been an assumption that it will happen. And you know what they say about assumptions. But it seems weird to not do it, given how successful the Booster Course Pass is. And there's some very notable absences from Mario Kart World. Pauline and Donkey Kong are the obvious ones. That they've only got one costume each. And they both had a game that just came out. So a free update that gives us more Pauline and Donkey Kong outfits, or just the first DLC being Donkey Kong Bonanza themed, seems very possible. Either way, I think we would find out here in the Mario anniversary segment. Like, maybe they'll shadow drop an update for Mario Kart World with some Mario 40th anniversary stuff, and then confirm more on the way with Pauline and Donkey Kong. And I guess there's NSO, right? There's the playtest game as well. Do we see the playtest game for realsies in this? Do we get an actual name for it and a confirmation of when it's coming out? Because they usually like to announce something new around NSO around this time, because a lot of people's subscriptions are either based in end of September or end of October, because of when the expansion pass came out and when NSO first came out. Like, I know mine is end of October. And they're pretty good at announcing an incentive every year. So the playtest game seems more likely to me than a new console, or just another random app, or something like what they did Nintendo Music last year, right? So I could see them giving us an actual name for the playtest game and announcing it will be coming out soon. I just don't know when. When would be the best place to put something like that? If they're already going to have Metroid Prime 4, Kirby Air Riders, and Pokemon, and Mario Bros. 2 Wonder, and possibly Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in December. There's like a lot, isn't there? So, unless they shadow drop it, they just announce, because it's going to be free for NSO members, right? So, and everyone knows about it, because everyone knows that they did a playtest. If they show it off here and they're like literally coming out today or coming out next week or something, I could see that happening. Cool. I think that is everything I can think of. I've gone on for like 20 minutes now, just word vomiting out predictions for Friday's Direct, but it's a big one and there's a lot to see, and we got a lot coming up. Both games we know will be there, games that are rumored, and games that we just have no clue about. So to sum it up, let's do a very brief summary, so in case someone got lost in my rambles. From Nintendo, I expect Metroid Prime 4 release date coming out early November. I'm expecting a new trailer on everything we've already seen before. Pokemon Legends, ZA will just get a feature trailer or a Mega Evolution. Kirby Air Riders will get a new character and also the story mode shown off. Age of Imprisonment will get a release date. Tomodachi Life will get a release date. Rhythm Heaven Groove and Splatoon Raiders will get a release window because they're a bit later on. Tomodachi Life will get a Switch 2 edition. Rhythm Heaven Groove will probably not, but if it does, it's an indicator that basically every Nintendo game at this point is going to have one. Then in terms of actual new stuff, Super Mario Bros. Wonder 2 edition, Switch 2 edition, will be coming out this year. Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War will be coming to Switch 1 and Switch 2 next year. Golden Sun will be coming to Switch 1 and Switch 2 next year. Potentially some sort of Mario spin-off, a Dr. Mario or a Mario sports game, also Switch 1, Switch 2, for next year, most likely. Playtest game for this year, could be given an actual name, well, will be given an actual name and a release date. When that release date is up in the air. A Pokemon spin-off, if it's an existing one, it'll be Mystery Dungeons, otherwise it's going to be an entirely new one. Just thinking on that, the people behind Pokken and new Pokemon Snap, Bandai Namco, but that specific team, I don't think they've released anything in a while, so maybe it's something closer to that. Maybe we are getting Pokken 2, which would be wild. I can't see a Pokken Switch 2 edition happening. I think it'd have to be a new game. And I can't see a new Pokemon Snap Switch 2 edition either, so we could get something from that team. Just a thought. Anyway, and I think that's gonna be it. Like, Nintendo's got more games, obviously, in the horizon, but I don't think we're not gonna get them all yet. And then Mario Kart World DLC and Mario Movie 2 news. Those two as well we're gonna see in the Mario section. And then for third parties, Final Fantasy VII, release date for the original, confirmation that Rebirth is coming. Elden Ring, probably a release date, or confirmation that's been pushed back to 2026, which based on my time with the demo might be a good thing. Duskbloods as well, we'll get another trailer for that. Don't know if we'll get an actual release date for it yet, but we'll get at least another trailer. Mega Man 12 with Sonic Crossworlds DLC, potentially tying in with Mega Man DLC. We'll get, was it Like a Dragon 7 coming to Switch 2? And we will get, what was the last one? Brain loading. Resident Evil 7. We'll get Resident Evil 7 announced for Switch 2. It'd be neat if we got Resident Evil 8 as well, because I feel like for the Resi games on Switch 1, they announced it like to them in doubles. So maybe we'll get 8 as well as 7, but 7 definitely, and a native port, not a cloud port of 7. And yeah, just a sudden thought, but Metaphor would also be quite nice to see if they are doing a Metaphor port. Maybe they'll wait till the Persona 3 Reload one is out and then announce the Metaphor Switch 2 edition. But yeah, that is everything I think we will see on Friday. There'll be some more minor stuff, some indie games and some pub partners that I just didn't think of will be there. I'm expecting to see Age of Empires from Microsoft show up at some point on the Switch 2. So maybe that could be here, actually. You know what, let's throw that one on there. Age of Empires 2 is coming to Switch 2. That's my final prediction for this video. Alright guys, but thank you for putting up with me for just over 20 minutes in this completely rambling predictions video. Let me know what you're looking forward to on Friday from the Nintendo Direct down in the comments below, and come back and you'll see me react to it, and we'll have a blast getting hyped for 60 minutes and laughing at whoever it is that they've cast for Bowser Jr. When they announce Elijah Wood for Bowser Jr., we'll have a field day on that. Alright, later guys.